I just got off a coaching call with my breakthrough book proposal class, and I wanted to share a quick snippet of our replay where we talked about building your platform, the quickest way to do that, especially if you're starting out with a small or non-existent platform, and how to do that all without social media. That can be great, but it's more of a long-term plan. We want to talk about what you can do right now. And we also talked about why platform is so valuable to you beyond just impressing publishers, and how every little step that you take towards that is going to pay off for you more than just in book sales, but also in terms of improving your writing, improving your book, and developing your thought leadership. So here it is. All right, so we had just started talking about platform and publicity and how it can feel like this hoop that you have to jump through to get a publisher's attention, but that it's so much more than that, not only for helping you sell your book, but for helping you write the book and develop your thought leadership. Because by interacting with the material, with audiences, with hosts that might be bringing you on their blog or on their podcast or any speaking opportunities or interviews you do, people are going to be asking you questions you hadn't thought of. You're going to be offering advice that, like, to you just felt basic. Like, is one of the hardest things is you know all this stuff, so you don't know what other people don't know and how much to share. So you start really learning about that, making connections on like, oh, I didn't even think about how that related to that. And your framework, your thought leadership will start to develop more and more as you bring your stuff out into the world. And then you're making connections with people on that topic as well, which is going to help you in terms of networking and building other opportunities, but it's also going to be giving you new ideas and helping you really get into your own leadership and all of those different topics. So I wanted to give you some options, a little bit more than I did the other day, on how to get started, especially where you might be new or feeling like you don't have enough of a platform. Some of the things that are the quickest. So building your own, as we talked about, whether it's through social media or a blog, this is something great, but this is your long-term plan. So if you want to start building some quick publicity and authority that you can do, like starting right away, I'll give you a few options to start with. And Tanya's question actually is going to be about speaking. So Tanya, we'll get specifically into your case in just a minute, but I do want to talk about speaking in general. This can be really quick because there can be things going on. I mean, as soon as next week, maybe there's an event in your area that you could speak at, even if it's a co-working space. This would take a little bit more than a week, but an industry group or association or a nonprofit, anybody in your local area that's having an event that you could speak about your topic to is going to be a fantastic resource for two different reasons. It's going to be a lot easier to get in than some kind of big conference. Sometimes conferences book their speakers out a year ahead, but if it's a local conference, organization, co-working space, an association like NALBO or the SBA or anything in your topic, that if they have that smaller chapter, it's going to be much easier to get in there. Two things can happen. If you do a great job, you can use the recording. If they don't already have a recording, hire somebody to come and record it for you. You can use that for two reasons. You can use that to get the next level of speaking gig, either at that association's next level, like if they have a local, a regional, and a national chapter, but you can use that video to get any other speaking opportunities, even if you tweak your topic. You can put it in your book proposal to say, I've spoken on this topic at, and just list this place. Even if it's small, it shows that you know how to do it, especially if you can then link to that video so that the agent and publisher can see that you delivered, regardless of the audience, you delivered a good performance. The other thing you can do is ask for a testimonial from that event organizer, or ask them who else they might know that would like your talk, because they're usually, if they're organizing this event, going to be passionate about this topic. They're probably going to be plugged into it and eager to help you meet other people. And you can use that testimonial then when you pitch at the next level that you're going to. Then Organizations, which I've touched on the speaking. It doesn't only have to be for speaking. Get plugged into any organizations and associations that either relate to you or to your topic. And when I say you, it might be Young Somebody's group or an AARP group or something about your own person, even if that it's not, the organization's not focused on the topic, something that relates to you that you would fit into, or topic-based ones as well. Volunteer, get to know the people in your local area, get to know, I don't mean network in a sleazy way, because build genuine human relationships with these people for two reasons. One, it's getting you deeper into your topic and that thought leadership and helping you interact on that thing. And two, these are people that are passionate about the same thing you are. So you want to be friends with them anyway, because you're going to be having so much in common. Okay, podcasting is another option that can be really quick. Now, some places book out, like the bigger podcasts are going to book out 3, 6 months, a year out. But a lot of other ones aren't as far out as that. So there's a few different ways to find podcasts that you want to try to be on. You can look at a podcast that you already know would have guests like you, and then go to the where it says also subscribed to or recommended for you, and you'll see other similar podcasts. You can look up people like you that speak to the same audience or that speak on the same topic, or maybe they're a competitor in some way, see what they've all been on and make a list of those and then see which ones fit. And then there's also 2 sites to check out, matchmaker.fm and Podmatch, where you can have a profile and you can submit and podcasters can find you. A lot of podcast hosts that I know actually use this a lot and primarily get their guests this way. So you can find and match up with those people looking for guests like you. And if they're on there, they're actively looking for guests rather than only banging your head against the wall trying to get into the biggest podcast that everyone in your industry wants to get in. When you have a handful of other ones on the topic, you can use those as an example to then show those bigger podcasts, and it'll help you get in there.
Can you name those 2 sources one more time, please?
Matchmaker.fm and Podmatch.
Thank you.
What was the second name? I didn't hear.
Podmatch. Here, I'll put these in. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Bring my chat back up. Oh yeah, everybody's asking me to repeat them. Oh, Craig, I see your question about past speaking. We'll come back to that because Tanya had basically the same question. So we'll definitely talk a lot about that in a minute. So another option for you is media in general, whether it's, more people are coming in. So whether it's TV, radio, blogs, traditional media, magazines, newspapers, being a media source where people can come to you for a quote, especially if you can be available on short notice, putting your name out there. You could even start locally, which is it's always great to start local because it's easier to get in. People are going to be more receptive to you in general because they already have this connection because they're in your area, especially if you're not. I mean, if you're in New York, like obviously start local doesn't help as much. It does. You're going to get on the local news more quickly than you're going to get on the Today Show, but it's a little bit different than if you're in a small to mid-sized city. You can have a bit more of a connection. But one other great place to put yourself out there as a media source that can give quotes is called Help a Reporter Out. I'll put that on here. It's usually just shortened to HARO or HARO. I don't actually know how you say it. I just always see it written. They actually, you can have a profile on there, but they also send you emails every day, which can be a pain to go through, but every now and then you can go through it. Organizes by category. So maybe it's health and wellness or business or sociology or whatever it is. And then they have requests from reporters that are on a deadline and need somebody to interview or give a quote on whatever topic it is. And you can write to them and say, hey, I can talk about that. Here's my qualifications. And then once you start getting those quotes, you can do two things with that. You can use that on any of your speaker sheets that you're trying to pitch yourself for speaking. You can put it in your book proposal and say, I've been quoted as an expert on this topic in these places. You can use that to pitch any other media. If you want to write an article, which I'm going to talk to in a minute, if you want to pitch that podcast, all of these are going to start establishing you as an expert. And that's something you could get started on today. You'll just fill out your profile, start thinking about the types of things that you can talk on and what might make you an expert on that topic, whether it's personal experience, the job that you're in. And if say your job is only tangentially related, you could still kind of jump in on those conversations that you feel are relevant enough that they'll gradually help you transition from the topic that you already have more credibility on to the one that you're still trying to build it with. Then, similar to being a source, is writing essays. We talked a little bit about this on Tuesday. Personal essays and opinion essays. Publications want to read the whole thing rather than just a pitch. So you can write out your essay and then submit it to big publications, and they're going to judge it based on the story itself, regardless if you have any writing credentials yet or not. Those of you that signed up during the Idea to Book Deal class, you already have free access to my class on how to do that. So you can log in when it's the right time. I don't want to overwhelm you when you're already doing this, but you can log into that and learn, step by step how you can write for those publications. And I said I would do this Tuesday. I know I haven't gotten to it, but I still will. I will post on our Facebook page and in the module for all of you, the list of places that take opinion essays and personal essays. There's probably a million more, but these are some really classic ones that would be great to reach out to that have big names and are going to help you instantly build credibility. And I'll also put in a link maybe on Facebook or send you an email to get like a really good price on taking that class yourself if you haven't already gotten access to that.